With the release of Street Fighter VI, the announcement of Mortal Kombat 1, and the continued threat of Tekken 8 coming soon, it's starting to feel like every major fighting game franchise is getting a new installment. Well, all of them except for Dead or Alive, which hasn't seen a sequel since Part 6 back in 2019. This got me wondering what Electronic Gaming Monthly thought of this top-heavy franchise and its even more salacious beach volleyball spin-off. Was this series a real contender or just another gimmicky wannabe? Now, in case you're wondering, EGM reviewed a total of 8 games in the Dead or Alive franchise. That includes most of the sequels, remakes, ports, and sports-based spin-offs. Unfortunately, it does not include Dead or Alive 5 or 6, 2 games that were released years after the magazine ceased production. The good news is that there are more than enough games and opinions to make for a great list. So what we're going to do today is count down the best and worst Dead or Alive games using Electronic Gaming Monthly's own words and scores. There's no editorializing here, we're just going to focus on what the critics said back when these games first came out. So go and grab your favorite floral bikini, because it's time for another physics-defying episode of EGM Ranks Dead or Alive.
Well, I only play for the fighting. I appreciate the expansive multi-tier environments and the 16 characters with the pixel shading bump mapping. And the rich plot development. Seriously, why else would I play it? She kicks eye. Rated T for teen.
Up first, at number 8, is Dead or Alive Xtreme 2 on the Xbox 360. Look at those things go, zooming this way and zigging that, like 2 big FUs to the laws of physics. But once the novelty of a zero-gravity tit simulator wears off, which for me was around 30 seconds in, it all gets very unexciting. The volleyball's bad, the mini-games are meh, and you'll spend more time buying crap and gift wrapping than ogling digital flesh. Let's not forget the real victims. Those 13-year-old boys who think they're dropping $60 on a sure thing, but are actually buying a shopping sim. Oh, let your future romantic disappointments be less expensive. Number 7, Dead or Alive 4 on the Xbox 360. Dead or Alive 4 comes very close to being a competitive fighting game, but its failings in a few key areas cripple its longevity. Although it's by far the series' best entry, DOA 4 still boggles the mind with its insanely imbalanced characters and easily exploitable moves. The game's new reversal system makes it harder to mash on the counter buttons to reverse attacks, but it's too convoluted for its own good. Yeah, DOA 4 is undeniably fun, and you'd almost overlook these quirks if the game didn't suffer from some serious bugs. Be it the hopelessly lag-laden Xbox Live play or the glitch that erases your save game at random. Maybe these problems will be ironed out in the DOA 4 Ultimate version. Number 6, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball on Xbox. I think most young men have dreamt of this. A bunch of fine young ladies in skimpy swimsuits frolicking with each other on the beach. Unfortunately, Extreme Beach Volleyball proves that it is not as much fun as it sounds. This is just Barbie shopping with a mediocre volleyball game attached to it. Honestly, the actual sport bits basically play themselves. You only occasionally need to tap a button, and though the whole package is compelling for a little while, it's not worth the price of admission. Save the cash and order Cinemax or a subscription to Playboy instead. Number 5, Dead or Alive Ultimate on the Xbox. Developer Team Ninja's built the perfect system for playing fighting games online. A versatile matchmaking interface, great spectator features, a tougher reversal system, and network performance that doesn't get in the way of a competitive match. As for the fighting games that you play with it, though, it's been a long wait for something we first tried 5 years ago. At full price, this is a good buy for longtime fans who want online competition, but it's not as exciting as an all-new game would be. Number 4, Dead or Alive on the PlayStation. Dead or Alive just isn't my cup of tea. It's a solid game with lots of technique, but it's not terribly exciting. The best part of the game is the reversal system, bouncy memories aside. But after throwing a few here and there, I found myself looking for a more exciting fighter, like the toe balls. If you're looking for something that might take a while to master, then Dead or Alive may be for you. It's not for the casual fight fan. Number 3, Dead or Alive 3 on the Xbox. What started off as one of the most anticipated Xbox launch titles has finished as just a prettier version of the last game, DOA 2 Hardcore. I'm sure you've heard this countless times by now, but for good reason. It's going to take a pretty hardcore DOA player to find the subtle differences between this game and the previous PlayStation 2 edition. A more suitable title for this would have been DOA 2, slightly more hardcore this time. But DOA 3 is still a solid game, with the juiciest eye candy of any of the Xbox titles so far. It's clear who this game is made for, die-hard series fans, and those who didn't play the PlayStation 2 version. Number 2, DOA 2 Hardcore on PlayStation 2. I really enjoyed Dead or Alive 2 on the Dreamcast, so naturally I really enjoyed it here too, but not quite as much. Perhaps it's just me, but DOA 2 Hardcore doesn't seem as responsive as the Dreamcast version. Sometimes I noticed a small lag in trying to counter moves and switching characters. It wasn't sluggish to the extent that it really hurt the game, but it was certainly annoying for somebody who was weaned on the DC release's timing. The graphics are phenomenal though, and the new modes, costumes, and stages are keen, making this a must-purchase for fighting fans. And even with its small problems, there's no doubt that DOA 2 plays better than Tekken Tag. And finally, at number 1, it's Dead or Alive 2 on the Dreamcast. Dead or Alive 2 would be the system's best fighter to date, had Namco not brought out you-know-what. Everything about this game is absolutely amazing. Excellent hit detection, ultra-realistic animation, beautiful backgrounds, etc. The fighting engine isn't as flashy or arcadey as some of the other popular titles. This is definitely better suited for more hardcore players. But once you get used to the fighting style, you'll be hooked. This is a deep and wonderful game.
And now, the competition you've all been waiting for, hand-to-hand combat! Your wildest dreams come true in Dead or Alive Ultimate and Xbox Live. Real-time online action across town and across the globe. Get your Double Disc Collector's Edition now, rated M for mature. Dead or Alive Ultimate, fighting for global peace one kick at a time.
Hey, thanks for watching me count down EGM's best and worst Dead or Alive games. If you're wondering why I didn't post a Street Fighter episode this week, well, it's because we already counted down EGM's top 45 Street Fighter games back in June. Yeah, last year when the game was first announced. That's in the playlist along with 40 other EGM Ranks episodes, so go and check it out. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite Dead or Alive game? And how would you rank DOA against other long-running fighting game franchises? Is it one of the best? Let me see your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, we're going to be back later this week, but first I need to go to the dentist. Don't worry, it's nothing serious, but while I'm doing that, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,